And it is the ace match of BlackBerry versus Bungie, Week 4 of the AHGL. The series is tied 2-2, very close. And now, in the final match, we have a TVT. This game could be close for another nail-biting hour. It's going to be exciting. We're now in game. We have very fast mana from DevanT, plus an exclamation mark. You can tell he's just thrilled to be here with us at the ace match. And let's see if that enthusiasm can carry him all day. TVT doesn't have to last all day, but it has the option. If they're enjoying themselves, which I certainly hope they are. We have, in manner order, the blue Terran for Team Bungie. It is DevanT. And on the other side, the red Terran for Team BlackBerry, it is Gardener. These are clearly players who are trying to win. Both have already won one match in this series. And now, we'll see who gets the ace final match of this tied series. Well, it's a mirror matchup. Timing's almost identical. Oh my God, definitely. Big lead to Gardener. Not only is his... Wait. No, it's fine. Not only is his supply depot in a more strategically beneficial position, it finished a few seconds earlier. He's like 5 seconds ahead with the SCV and on par with the barracks. Considering how little that you can really diverge by this point, that's showing huge skill advantage. He's even a second ahead on the refinery. Look at that. Oh, wait, he's 2 seconds behind on the next SCV. DevanT pulling it back. Maybe this part of the game isn't quite there yet, but we do see scouting happening, and that is actually important. Gas before barracks. Gardener is going to be ready for Reaper play, probably by making his own Reaper. You know, he did the exact same build, but his scout was faster, giving him more chance to adapt, which he probably isn't going to bother with. I'm not sure what exactly you adapt with that scout timing. Perhaps you just... Oh, clever. Perhaps you just, you know, check. Is he getting gas, or do I have to worry about 4 barracks, Marine all in? And they're both building Reapers. Ooh, trapped that SCV. That's going to give him a 1 SCV advantage in approximately 120 seconds. In the meantime, of course, that one's not mining either. And he might even leave the door open. No, he's fine. Most of the BlackBerry team hails from fair Canada, so they are used to not leaving the door open. You leave the door open in Canada, you freeze to death, because it happens to be winter there. And not only was the Reaper revealed, even though it was extremely obvious, but it was delayed. So now the Reapers are going to meet over on Gardener's side. Oh, one of them's on move command. I don't know if that matters. He can keep running until his drugs catch up with him, because these guys are loaded with drugs. And, you know, that brings the enemy Reaper out of commission. I'm not sure what he wants to do. Maybe turn around? No? Where'd he go? I don't see you. Looks like jumping up a cliff will juke vision even from other Reapers. Shame they lost that combat awareness buff. And now it's attack move versus attack move. And he's still not going for it. But the dance of the Reapers has kept them from doing any real damage. And in the meantime, Devon going for 1-1-1. Gardener ready to expand off of Bio. Let's see what happens. Tech Lab, interesting. This could be a Thor drop, but not if you move to create a second Tech Lab. Early tank Raven, maybe Cloak Banshees. I mean, I love seeing Banshee opening against Terran because it applies pressure. The Marines have to dance around. You can still get some damage in. It's like Oracles, but with the added threat of Cloak and less guarantee that you will maul their worker line. But it's a little late. I think that Reaper might have delayed Banshee to the point where there's plenty of Marines out. Plenty of engineering bays out. Because you only need one. And missile turrets. It's like he knows that DevanT builds Banshees and stuff because he saw it in the previous game. Albeit that wasn't TVT, but cheese in one match, you'll probably cheese in the next. Hard to say really if the Banshees are entirely cheese in this matchup. Having a bit of air presence in TVT can go a very long way when the siege tank lines start mixing it up. And since we see a tech lab here, I am definitely betting on siege tank lines. No command center from DevanT yet. So he's going to have to make something happen here. Okay, Reaper versus Reaper, very evenly matched. So far they've been denying all scouting and harassment. Oh, and now who's on move command? It's Gardner again. But this time DevanT ignores him, wants to go and see something in the main base. He sees an empty bunker. Ooh, it's Banshee and Reaper. Dual harass. That Banshee got several Marines. Probably some nice micro there. Let's watch it this time. Cloak. Right after he spilled the mule. Ouch. I'm not saying you have to spend the scan, but he had the option. Oh, there we go. That second orbital really worthwhile. Picks off both. Did lose quite a few Marines, but he's got such a worker and economic lead. 2 command centers. Siege tank, Viking, very good setup for winning that later game, or even the mid game, and finally DevanT's getting his command center. Oh, SimCity fail there. Tanks are having a bit of trouble escaping. They could go all the way around the long way, but I don't think he wants that. I think he's probably ready to expand once he does a bit of initial scouting. Oop, supply block. And there he goes. He's ready to expand. DevanT close behind. Siege tank count fairly close, but I think no, it's very close. Extremely close. DevanT is ahead by 1/3 of a siege tank. It's those edges that you need to exploit. Armory, second factory. Looks like we're gonna see some more mech style play out. DevanT with Gardner going full on biomech. You really just cannot give up on the tanks in TVT. I haven't seen a serious Terran player yet, even in TVT, who skips building Marines. And if they're building Marines, you got to build tanks. That's just how it works. It would be interesting to see, and it probably doesn't work. And I don't never play Terran, but it would be interesting to see someone go for a style with no tanks, relying instead on mines or Hellbats to clear those Marines, because both mines and Hellbats have some pretty good splash damage. Ooh, great side by DevanT. Those Banshees still proving useful. They might not be able to attack, but they can scout the skies. Might have preferred a Viking, though. Anyway, as I was saying, Hellbats or Widow Mines versus Marines in TVT. Next time I TVT, I'm going for it, because, hey, I'm off racing. I can lose without any damage to my ego. For now, these real Terran players are sticking to tanks. And some very defensive tank placement here by DevanT. He's just got great coverage. I mean, if you fly all the way around there, maybe, but you're going to be so visible. Of course, Gardner still has some fairly defensive tank placement. You know, they're just very cautious play so far. But it was nice to see some attempts at aggression. We did have the attempted drop by Gardner, the Banshees by DevanT. Definitely not sitting passive waiting for the mules to mine out the main. Which they are very good at. Almost done here. You really want to split those up, in my opinion. And there's Gardner moving out. He's got his tanks, Marine, Medevac. Doesn't quite have the combat shields, but the upgrades are progressing very nicely. In the meantime, we have tanked and Hellbats coming out for DevanT. Tank and Hellbat should be good against Marines. Only problem is that anything air kind of ruins your day. He does have the Viking superiority right now. That's going to help. He needs to maintain the Viking superiority. Watch out for those Marines. And it looks like another drop is going to get thwarted. Ooh. And is it going to be picked off with 5 Marines still there? The Banshee cleaning off the rest. Very slick defense there by DevanT. This is not the time to move out. There's just one medevac. Don't overreact. Hellbats trying to attack Marines, but they can kite because they have speed. Unlike Hellbats, deployed tanks beat undeployed tanks in this sort of situation. And there we have it. Bit of a mistake. DevanT is behind army-wise. I still don't think the Gardner can push forward, but he can easily secure his offensive line. He gained a lot of yards there. And here come in the reinforcement stream. Mostly Marines. We're seeing pretty bio-heavy. Still getting tanks. Should be getting Vikings. But he wants to get them later, so... And there you have it. The Banshee's proving quite effective later in the game. I mean, he needs to get out of there before the scan arrives, but it looks like he's on top of it. Yeah, I've never seen straight sky tearing in TVT, largely because the defense is just too easy at your actual bases. But that little bit of air, so good in pushing back those Marine tank lines. And another attempt to drop by Gardner. He gets in there. He doesn't really do any damage. I mean, killing a few Hellbats, that's what you want to die. You don't want the SCVs to die. You don't want the tanks to die. That's actually a bit of a decent takeoff. Much harder to replenish those. I mean, you just pump out Hellbats 2 at a time. Tanks. Tanks, those take more effort. It's like if you're having twins instead of a single baby. You can easily grow your family if you have twins all the time. I strongly recommend that to anyone who is doing family planning based off of StarCraft metrics, which is not actually recommended. Probably scouts. Well, we have the faster third, Gardner, pushing his temporary advantage. He's secured the middle. You know, there is a huge area around here that you can go around in. But he's not going to. Does DevanT know about where the real third is? He doesn't. He must still think it's 2 base. Poor guy. Ah, that'll find it. Good old barracks scout, because by this point, you actually have stopped building Marines as a meching player. Which is a shame, because his anti-air is now limited to a smattering of Vikings that can easily be sniped by Marines if they start being tricky. But if you don't have Marines, barracks are great, cheap scouts. He's going for his third. I don't know if he can take it, but he's going to move out. He's spotted already. He was spotted in time for Gardner to do something about it. I'm not saying anything happening. What? Darting forward, all the bios straight into the tanks who are sieging up. I don't know about that. It's doing a lot of damage. Very tense battle. We've got medevacs following. We've got Vikings following. We've got a lot of tanks lost for DevanT. But as a meching player, he usually has more anyways. No, definite tank count superiority now to Gardner. Viking count still remaining DevanT, and that does have a big impact, especially with this raised terrain here. Just put some siege tanks up and you're perfectly safe. But no, he's going to posture out in the middle of the map. Gardner not really spreading his siege tank line very well. More of a siege tank cluster. Siege tank dot. Unsieging them all at once. Not sure. Ah, repositioning. Very good. Still would recommend a line, but perfect timing. He's got everything deployed. DevanT just walks right in there, landing the Vikings on top of the siege tanks. Not enough, and he just gives up. Well, that third under heavy harassment lost his entire army. Definitely advantaged Gardner, and that means that BlackBerry has won an intense 3-2. Very close series. And are your victors today in the After Hours Gaming League, Week 4, BlackBerry versus Bungie. I hope you all enjoyed it, and next week, BlackBerry faces Microsoft's A+ team. Let's see if they can maintain that good mark, or if they end up getting a D-. Let's see you then.